So I'm sharing the screen right now. Can you see it?
Yep, I see it. I'm gonna full screen it real quick.
Okay, perfect. So just real quick. So obviously I see a few campaigns here, but none of them look like they're on. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just paused them because I wanted you to look at them, and then I was gonna make some changes after this call.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and I'm also I'm recording this call too, so I'll send it to you. So if you forget anything,
I was just
I'll
gonna
just send
ask
you
you
this
that.
recording. Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that, man.
Yeah, dude. Of course. So let's take a look. So it's just been these campaigns, and I see you've had them on and off for some time. Is that right?
Yep. And the ones
Okay.
that I've been like focusing on the most is the I think it's NOMD V2 or something like that. It's called.
Yeah, I'll be able to see that here
The
momentarily.
other
I just
one I
wanted to open
barely
it
even
up
ran.
here. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, perfect. Because what I'll do
Or
next is I
V1.
see
It's the V1. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Yes, that's where all your spend is gone. Okay, so then this has been your number one campaign. I see obviously you've had it on and off for some time here. Let me take a look. Yeah, just bear with me for a sec because I'm just looking at this account, for the very first time.
Yeah,
so
man.
I'm
I'll
just
let you just
taking it all in.
deep dive.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, let me see what conversion actions you have going. Generate lead form. This is inactive. Are you aware that this is inactive? Is this one that you're not going for anymore? This conversion action.
So I definitely need to watch some videos on conversion tracking. The problem that I was having was on my landing page, it gives people the opportunity to click my phone number to call, or it leaves them the ability to get a free quote, or it also leads them to my online booking platform where they can automatically just book a detail. So it gives them those three options on the landing page. And I was trying to set it up properly, and it was tracking. I forget what action was caught. I got to look back at it, but I forget what action was actually causing it to show that it was tracking, and it was showing it. But I was trying to make it so that it shows when they book it from the online booking platform. But the online booking platform, I need to get in contact with them because, like, for the customer journey, as far as that goes, I need to have access to their API or something to be able to actually set it up on that end, I think, unless I'm wrong, but it takes it away from my website. So it's not like I can just add the tracking to their booking platform without them giving me information or helping me do it or something, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, what you have is pretty common for service-based businesses. You have a third-party booking platform. So all of them that I know of, they have an API code. So there is a way to put it in Google Tag to register that. But yeah, that is quite the pain. Conversion tracking is honestly a nightmare. It should be way easier, but it's not, unfortunately. So just make sure, of course, you get that figured out. But I see call from ads here, so that's good. And then these click to calls, be careful with these. Because if someone actually let's say they're on a desktop and they just click the button, the phone call to action button on your website 10 times, then you risk that just getting marked as 10 conversions. And if it's on a computer, no one's even calling anyway. So this stuff is always really, really just sketchy, I guess. I guess for this one right here, the actual website call from ads. So if you really want to track phone calls from your ads, I would recommend getting something called CallRail. It's really easy to set up, and then it basically uses a number that it swaps. So it shows a tracking number or a forwarding number or a masking number when someone has visited your site from Google Ads, so then it can actually track the full call. Because with this, when you just track, if someone clicks on the call button, again, they could click it multiple times. It could be on a computer. So it's not going to be as accurate. So just keep that in mind. But as long as these, were these ever accurate in the past? Are these 6 conversions, were they real forms?
Yeah, there has been, yes.
Okay,
I don't know if that's actually accurate. I don't know if it's actually 6 or not. I can show you on my screen how I have it set up as far as me knowing that someone are you familiar with Wix pretty well?
Yeah.
I created a separate form for that landing page. So that form is actually called landing page. So anytime somebody fills it out, and it's only available from the Google ad because it's a hidden page. So they can only, the only way they clicked on it is if they clicked on the Google ad. So then when they click on it and they fill it out, I get a notification that they filled out the landing page form. So that's how I've been tracking it. But as far as it being in sync with this, I got to make sure that it is, and I'm not 100% sure that it is. But 6 sounds kind of, it sounds kind of accurate with the progress that I've had so far.
Okay, got it. Yeah, then just of course, just to reiterate, make sure you have conversion tracking set up accurately, of course, but call from ads is always going to be, good and accurate, because that's when someone calls you from the search engine result page, they just click your call out, which is call from ads. That's fine. So I'm just going to assume that then for the most part, you probably got 16 conversions in here from this time, and this shows 17, which is fine, which is the other click. So okay, so then for the most part, those are accurate. That's just important. Because every decision that you make in the account is going to be optimizing for either a lower cost per conversion or conversions that make you more money. So depending if you're tracking the value of someone's actually booking and putting in their card, and there's going to have a dollar value attached to that. So those are always going to be the two things you're optimizing for. So any decision you make in ad groups, keywords, locations, bidding, etc., is always going to be around that. So you really want to make sure that that is always accurate. So typically when I see most people doing Google Ads themselves, that's like the biggest gap is just conversion tracking, because it's really important, but it's also really, really hard. It's not user-friendly to set up at all. So no worries. I want to see where most of your conversions have come from. Okay. So now let's actually go take a look at this campaign itself. So when I go ahead in here, I say $81 today. I'm just going to go into this real quick. Let's see what kind of settings you have in here. Okay, you're optimizing for leads. Nice, you have these turned off. Sweet. Maximize clicks. Perfect. Okay, yes, you're doing this correct. Okay, so this all looks fine. Nothing, no red flags I see in there right off the bat. If I go to ad groups, let me take a look at these keywords.
I've actually updated them, and I haven't even ran the new updated ones. So
okay, nice. Yeah, no problem.
You can check the old ones or not.
Yeah,
or if
that's
these
okay.
ones are good.
Yeah, I should be able. Yeah, I mean, I'll see all of them because I have enabled and paused. So unless you completely remove them, I won't be able to see it. But this is plenty. Okay. So one big thing to notice here is notice how when I go back to your ad groups, I see you have 6 ad groups here, but then also spend has only really gone to 3 of them, and if you really look into it, spend has really only gone to like 2 of them, right? For the most part. So keep that in mind, and then actually on auto detailing, then keep in mind how all the spend here has gone to just one keyword as well. So just keep that in mind for now. But I did notice, so you said that you watch my YouTube videos, is that right?
I watched one of them, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I can tell that you've done like yeah, sweet man, sweet. Yeah, I can tell that you have done the single theme ad groups, which is awesome, Stags. But one thing I did notice too is like you have interior detailing and then auto detailing, but it seems like a few of these keywords actually kind of reach over, like interior cleaning is in there as well. I kind of saw a handful of those, so just be careful with that. The whole point is to keep them really separated, so you don't want them to overlap. Yeah, so you've got the same keyword that's overlapping in both those, just to be careful with.
Got it.
But overall,
so if it says auto, if it
Mhm.
says auto and interior, would I just put it in auto or would I just put it in interior? Or I could do either one, but I just want to make sure not to put both of them in both.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna have a keyword that specifically says interior, I would put it into this ad group for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I would put it into interior just because auto detailing itself is kind of like its own search, right? Like for instance, auto detailing, car detailing, auto car, like those are all their own. Same thing with carpet cleaning, that's technically part of interior. But right now it doesn't matter as much since your ads have been, on and off so much and all the spend is really going into one area. But I just wanted to mention that to you real quick. So dude, the biggest thing here, right? So when it comes down to once someone already has, like let's say conversion tracking is set up, your CPC is already a great, great price point. Like that's very, very affordable. I see you got a decent budget here. Again, you have the Stags, you have everything set up right. So now what it comes to is the reason why that you start a campaign like this is because you want everything to be really open, right? Okay, boom, you got all your keywords, you've got all your single theme ad groups, you probably have all like your locations and audiences, those are all open and unchecked, right? So basically your account is just fully open. So then as you start to see data come in, you see clicks, you see conversions, they're going to go to certain places, right? And now your whole job here is to basically be trimming fat to optimize for the best results. So you're slowly going to start to see, all your stuff kind of come in, and that's what you're going to primarily focus on until you tap into that market so hard and you spend so much that you have to open it back up again, right? So when it comes to trimming fat, the biggest things you have to realize here too, and kind of what I mentioned for you to keep in mind, where you have one keyword that's taking all the spend, and then here you have basically, let's just say like 2.5 out of your 6 ad groups that are taking all the spend here. So what happens is, because your Google Ads campaign, the budget for Google Ads is always at a campaign level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Google charges you per click. Okay, so like if you have if you're in an area like, I don't know, you're in Ohio, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. So if you're like, let's say you're advertising in Columbus, but then a bunch of like smaller suburb cities around it, Columbus is probably going to get all the clicks and all the traction, because that's where the actual volume is, right? Whether that means that those cities around Columbus could be better cost per converting, maybe they might be different demographics that might do better, etc. That doesn't matter, because all the click volume is more in Columbus. That's going to take most of the budget. The same exact thing happens, with your ad groups and your keywords. So auto detailing is a much more click volume heavy topic or search theme or search, a group of words than headlight restoration, then full detail, then exterior, then car detailing, and then this is kind of like neck and neck for the most part, right? And then when you click into here, you notice that it all pretty much goes to auto detailing, right? So what I'm trying to get at is, now you see where the budget's going. So now you can trim what you have, and then you can also, this is where you test other things, right? So for instance, realistically, these ad groups have had almost no testing, right? This one's had a bit, sure, but these have had literally not even 1 penny go into them, right?
Yep.
So the first thing I would do here, assuming again your conversion tracking is accurate, it's like, okay, we spent $2,100. Okay, now what are the next adjustments we make? Immediately go into the cost per conversion here. This ad group is $89 and this is $382, right? And you spent $764, got 2 conversions. This is one that you can keep paused, right? So assuming all these were back on, like if you're actually running the campaign, this is one that you could pause. I would pause this. So then now, a third of your spend now is going to be redistributed in the future to this, that, and then ideally it's going to trickle down to here, right? So this is one that you could cut and just keep paused in general, right? Okay, interior detailing is not as, it's not converting as well as auto detailing and car detailing for my areas, right? And based on my website, the people, etc. And as you can see that the conversion rate is also really low, etc. But that being said, that would be the very next step, right? And then what you can do too is, like, let's say that you pause this, you keep this paused, and let's just say that then all the spend now just goes into here and here, and these are still, like, okay, $90, $113. Then what I do is I have a method I like to call it. I know I'm sure other people call it whatever, but I call it dividing and conquering. So you can duplicate this exact campaign, but in the duplicated campaign, like the second one you just made, the only ad groups that you have enabled are these ones, because the reason why you do that is then you give it its own budget, right? So maybe add like 20 or 30 or 40 bucks a day, or even, take part of this original budget if you don't, if you don't want to increase. So now when you give these ad groups their own budget, that is how you can actually test them and isolate them, right? But the whole point of that is you want to only separate the budget and separate the campaign to test more things. So your number one goal is to figure out what's working, right? So step number 1 right here would be to enable all these again, but then keep this one paused and see where the budget redistributes, and then see if those numbers are okay for you, right? Because if you're like, you know what, John, after pausing this and going to these, I'm getting conversions for $90 and I'm turning them all into appointments, that's great. But obviously no one's going to turn them all into appointments. Like, let's say your close rate's only, 50%, right? Then that means, okay, your true cost per job is $200, right? So then that's when you have to make more changes, where you go, okay, $100 cost per conversion is still not going to cut it. That is when you break these things out and test and see what we can get here. Okay, let's say that one of these is able to, get us conversions for 40, 50 bucks. That's great. Or let's say that all these flop. Exterior detailing, full detail, headlight, they're just not as popular. They just don't do as well as something like this. And then you kind of realize that you're stuck. Then you can kind of do the exact same thing here, because all of your spend in this campaign has gone to one keyword. Obviously, I know, you said that you made some adjustments and you haven't seen, the new keywords. They haven't had any volume yet. So it's hard for me to tell what's new and what's not. But when I see here one keyword, it's like all of these could have some love, right? So you can do the exact same divide and conquer strategy, with this, if you'd like. Or if, this is $75, so you're like, okay, that's not too bad, like let's just say that this keyword that was hogging all the spend, you're getting cost per conversion for 300. You actually might be better off just pausing that keyword entirely and just risking it and seeing where else the budget goes and however else you can do. Because if you were getting cost per conversions for $30 or $300, then it's almost not worth splitting it up and keep testing other things, because with a budget like yours and with the spot that you're in, you're more worried about saving money compared to just like keeping volume, right? And even with that, it's not as much volume. So you can kind of do that exact same thing, right? So your whole job is like, for ad groups and keywords, the budget's going to gravitate towards what's click volume popular, and then your job is to almost like strip that down, separate it, trim the fat, and like pull the budget down to other stuff. And then eventually you're going to end up with a few winning ad groups, probably like 5 to 10 winning keywords, and you're probably going to also do the same thing with locations, because like I said, it's basically the exact same thing here, right? Is like locations do the same. So you can do the same thing with locations. Like if I just targeted, I don't know how much you know about the Phoenix area, but if I just targeted like the whole valley, right? For mobile auto detailing, like somewhere in an area like North Scottsdale or Paradise Valley is a lot more affluent. There's a lot more money there than there is in like, South Tempe, South Phoenix, right? So those locations will have very different cost per conversions, very different results, but all the money is going to go towards Phoenix because that's where there's more volume, right? So you can do the exact same thing with locations. So again, it's noticing where the spend is gravitating towards, doing what you need to kind of strip that and pull that down to give it more spread as needed, right? Because the whole number one goal is for you to find out what's going to give you the best cost per conversion or the highest return on ad spend, et cetera, right? So, let's say that you're here. Let's say that you tried everything and you're like, John, no matter what I do, I've isolated these. I've even paused this main keyword and given the other keyword spend. No matter what I do, I still can't seem to get conversions for, like less than, like let's say $100, right? Then that's when you start taking more, bidding approaches, right? And that's when you would start I wouldn't put a cap on your cost per click since it's already very, very, very affordable right here. This is a great number. That's when you start telling Google like, hey, we have enough data here. Like, let's say that your average cost per conversion in this one campaign or ad group that you're going to do it to is $100. You can set a target cost per acquisition, like a tad bit lower, like 10% lower than that, and then just slowly bring that down, but making sure that you're still spending. Because what happens is if your standard or if your average cost per conversion is $100, and then you make your target cost per acquisition $50, your budget's probably just going to go to the ground. You're probably not going to spend, because now Google's like, great, we only want to show our ads to people that we think are going to convert, for $50 or less. So that it shows your ads to a lot less people, which can overall, bottleneck your spend. So that comes to a balancing act. That's why it's really important to start like, 5 or 10%, lower than what the average actually is, and then slowly bring it down. And then once you do that, I know, sorry, this is a lot, but this is why I'm recording this and going to give it to you. Man. Okay, perfect. I know it's a lot, but because then what you can do, like, let's say that this ad group is converting at $100, and you do the target CPA and you bring it down to like 70 or maybe 65, and then it stops the spend, right? Then that's when you can test these other ones in another campaign and kind of do the same, right? So it's like this weird game, right, where now you're like, it's kind of like a balancing act. And then you're redistributing budget because now you've bottlenecked this one down to the ground. The spend is maybe only like, I don't know, a quarter of what it should be, or is overall set to at a campaign level, but you are getting those conversions for $50. But you're like, okay, great, but now how do we scale this up and start spending more? Then that's when you can strip these apart, do the divide and conquer, duplicate the campaign, and then because you've already tested these before, like I mentioned in this fake scenario, you're not able to get better cost per conversions, and that's when you can do the same on the other sides as well. So you can also probably just leave them in the same ad group as well, because if this one's not going to full spend, then it's going to trickle down, but it's just a case-by-case scenario. So I know that was a lot, but that is like a full lesson on basically what to do here. Now that everything you have is like separated, organized, conversion tracking, for this case is at least accurate enough for me to use numbers on. So yeah, man, those are the best steps near you. I noticed too that you, I'm just taking a quick look. You've been getting rid of car wash. That's great. Yeah, you still have a couple here, so just be careful, right? Obviously, this isn't like too big of a deal, but again, when you're spending $15 here, $15 here, it can obviously go a long way. So you got free vacuums here, taking up some spend here, car vacuum near me, and then there was another one here that was a self car wash. So just be careful of those. And if this is something you're like, hey, no matter what, we don't do car wash at all, no matter what, you can make the word wash a negative broad match keyword. So then it just removes those from the future, right? Because if you just click on like this, and it's not going to let me do it because I'm read only, I don't think. Well, maybe. And then, if you just do it like this as a broad match, then it's going to stop that keyword from coming up. But if keywords that have the word wash in it keep falling through the cracks, and you can just make the word wash and a broad match negative if that fits your business, of course.
Okay.
So same thing with like vacuum. Like I would start with like vacuum, wash, free, self, like the word self, so that you don't ever have any self-service or self-vacuum or whatever. Yeah, see, here's another one. So yeah, dude. But that's pretty much where I would start. I know it's a lot of information. It's kind of a game where, like, yes, it does kind of take a little bit of time to get those things going, but like you could make pretty like, I don't want to say like abrupt, but like you can make a lot of those decisions like 1 week at a time,
Yeah.
So
No, that makes
yeah,
perfect sense, man.
That is like the best path that I see for this account right now. So if you have any questions, man, please just ask away. I'm here to answer any questions you have, but that's the path I have for this account and how I think you should, maintain the strategy and test and whatnot. So
I appreciate it, man. So with locations, I'm in like where I live, I'm in like a smaller city. Like I'm in like if we look up North Canton, Ohio, let's see here. We're like on Google My Business, I'm ranking like #1 in North Canton, Ohio, pretty much. But North Canton, Ohio has like, let me see. I don't know how many people it's got. Anyways, it's not a big city, and a lot of the people are only making like 70 grand, 80 grand, things like that. And then there's a few affluent like parts of it, but it's pretty much like these guys aren't even making enough they're barely wanting to get their cars detailed once or twice a year. And even then they're not even wanting to pay the right prices.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, this is a luxury service for sure.
It is. So that's the problem that I've been running into, is actually most of my customers have been coming in from Google My Business, and I have been able to like advertise like organically and get customers that way that are, that can afford my prices and things like that. But would your advice be to kind of find places that are closest but that are as affluent as possible and just target those? And how many of those would you recommend that I target at once? Like, should I only target one area at a time, or like how should I, like, what's the strategy behind that with the locations and then the different ad groups running?
Yeah, fantastic question. Yeah, when it comes to like having a luxury service, right? Like I consider any kind of like med spa or like mobile auto detailing, like those are luxury services, right? So going towards more affluent areas will almost always help you. Of course, it's a lot different if you're like a locksmith or a plumber, because if someone's locked out of their house, whether they're rich or poor, they're probably going to pay you, right?
They got to pay for it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with a plumber. Like if your toilet's spilling all over your floor, you're going to call someone. Like, doesn't really matter.
Time to start becoming a plumber then, right, John?
Yeah. Well, that also has its vices. It has its vices,
Yeah,
right? Like you're getting an average cost per click of like what was it? A couple bucks.
Yeah.
Average cost per click for a plumber can be like 20, 30, 40 times this. So
no, I bet, man. There's pros and cons. I'm gonna stay where I'm at, man.
Totally, yeah. Yeah, pros and cons to everything for sure. But yeah, so with locations, that's a great question. So what I do, right? And so since I'm not gonna say this account is brand new, but like, you've you've tested things, you've got it set up right, hasn't ran for too long consistently. So this is a state where, you could go to your locations here and you can add all of the ones, like I would add every area that you service or that you want to service. So the answer to that question is I would put in all of those affluent areas that, that are in your reach to service. I'd put them all, because what's going to happen is the spend and like where the money goes is going to happen exactly like it does for the ad groups and for the keywords, right? So it's going to gravitate towards where the actual volume is. So if that first area, I don't remember the name of it, but that you mentioned is like, oh, like it's
North
not.
Canton.
Sorry. One more time.
North Canton, where I live.
North Canton. Got it. And if you're like, hey, this area is not it, and like the calls you're getting are not qualified because people can't afford it, then that is a time where you can remove that location and then focus on the other ones. But long story short is I would put all the areas that you can, service that are going to be affluent, I would put them all in there at once because you want to see where the budget actually goes. And then again, that is when you can do like the dividing and conquer. You can test other locations, or if locations are doing really good or bad, you can put positive or negative bid adjustments. You can remove them. You can even like choose more manually, like the exact neighborhoods. In the video that you watched, you kind of watched how I did like cities and zip codes, right? Like neighborhoods.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's a great way to do it too. Because like for instance, Phoenix is big, but the difference between North and South Phoenix is like a very big difference, right? So I would use that to almost just like hand pick. So long story short, again, to your answer or your question is, I would put all the locations you want to target in here at once, and then again, once everything is open, kind of start picking from there and make decisions to exclude, remove, focus or not focus, split test from there. So I always start it with everything open.
I appreciate your advice, man, and your value on here. And I'll definitely be leaving you a testimonial, man, and even use me as a case study, you know, as far as like Levi took that audit, you know, and maximize, you know, the value you can get from this, man, just for as far as your credibility and stuff and getting your referrals is my goal, man. So I appreciate this a lot.
Yeah, dude. Of course, man. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Levi. That's very respectable.
Yeah, man, because I know what it's like when you're adding all this value to someone's life, and then sometimes you just feel like they forget about you or something, you know, sometimes where it's like, man, I've poured out on these people, and I can't believe they just didn't do anything with it or didn't even give me any credit for it. But no, man, I'm definitely not like that. But anyways, as far as the two other questions I have that come to mind.
Yeah.
One is there any other gaps that maybe we didn't talk about, or that that we didn't think about on this that I need to be wary of, as far as maybe I need to change something, maybe something's off that we didn't look at, or is everything on here pretty much good? It's just a matter of moving forward with those next steps, and there's no hidden gaps that maybe we didn't go over.
Yeah, great question. The main biggest thing that I would say is figure out how to get that conversion tracking 100% accurate. That's going to help you more than anything. But in terms of actual gaps, you know, like obviously I can tell that you followed along my videos. And when I'm talking on the videos, like I'm not BSing, you know, I'm giving everyone the exact stuff that I do. So far, everything is really good, man. You know, like you're still using maximize clicks until you get more conversions, which is good. You have single theme ad groups. You're already keeping an eye, you know, and getting rid of, you know, like very much a majority of, you know, irrelevant search traffic. You have a little bit of data here. As of right now, man, like this is so this is not to kind of transition, but like to kind of group this, right? Like someone who's in a different industry that I haven't worked in will sometimes be like, well, you know, you don't know like this industry, whatever. But once you have it set up like this, for no matter what it is, you're now just playing a game of like interpreting data, right? Like that's really what it comes down to. Is no matter what kind of business or what industry, it's just going to be interpreting this data and, you know, to make the next best move. So besides conversion tracking, the two things that I will say is this isn't going to matter a ton right now, but you will see it, you know, start to matter. Is I always look at my competitive metrics here. Search impression share. I don't really care much for the top as of right now. Search loss rank. Search loss budget. So this right here is based, and I'm gonna show you auction insights too. But these competitive metrics right here, they are gonna show you, right? So like always gonna be during you know, this time frame, of course. And if, you know, depending on what ad groups you have and what campaign it's, so it's always gonna depend on that. But these are your competitive metrics, right? So during this time that your campaign was on, you got 14.27% of the impression share. Do you know what that means?
14% of people saw my ad. Is that what you're saying? Or like out of all the people running ads at the same time?
Yeah. So out of anyone who searched anything that could have possibly triggered one of your keywords to, you know, to show them your ads, you showed up 14% of the time. And then out of that 14% of the time that you showed up, let's say that's like what, 1 in 7, 1 in 8. Then out of that, you know, 1 of 7, 1 of 8 of those people clicked on your actual ad themselves. So what that tells me is that there's a lot of room here to scale vertically, right? So scaling vertically is just like increasing your ad spend basically on this. Scaling horizontally is like when you have multiple campaigns, you've divided and conquered some ad groups, you have more locations split up. That's how you like cover more ground horizontally. But to cover more ground vertically, like this just shows that there's like a massive runway, right? Because if you like, there will get to a point, in anyone where like you're spending so much, or like it's always good to see like how much are people really spending around you, like kind of like how's the market look, right? So these two are important. And then the next thing I like to look at is, so you lost 23%. So you've lost 23%, by almost a quarter of your impression share, due to actual like your budget itself. So that's still not like the biggest factor. So that's not too bad at all. But the biggest outlier here is that you've actually lost 62% of potential impressions due to like your rank. So people are outranking you on the ads, right? So what that means is if you go ahead and look at these keywords, again, it's very difficult because there hasn't been a lot of actual volume and traction within those. But what I like to do is I like to go to the actual quality score, and I like to take a look at this, right? So this has a 5 out of 10 quality score. So what this means is that you don't, like, long story short, what this means is that this keyword or this whatever is not as prevalent on your website as it could be. So you basically get rewarded by Google by getting a higher quality score when your advertising is more congruent to your actual website itself, right? So like, for instance, if someone was like selling shoes, and let's say they had a specific landing page just for gym shoes only, right? But they do sell just all kinds of shoes. And so if they had an ad group that was for gym shoes, and in those ads, right, they have keywords related to gym shoes, but in the actual ads themselves, the final URL was taking people to the home page. Gym shoes isn't going to be as mentioned. There's going to be more, more pushback. There's more, I guess, friction. So now has to look for them. It wasn't as congruent. You'd get a lower quality score. But if you put someone on a page that was all about gym shoes, you would likely have a higher quality score because Google's able to connect those. Go, okay, perfect. Exactly what they're advertising for and exactly what people are looking for, people are getting, right? So Google kind of rewards you on that lack of friction and that congruency and like that like straightforwardness. So what I would do here is I would just make sure that like phrases like this are more on your website. Would you mind if I like just looked at your website like during this recording and just like kind of looked at it? Okay, cool.
Yeah, man.
So let's take a look. I'm gonna go back to that.
Definitely use some work.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Let me see. Because if I go back to your keywords here, auto detailing. Oh, I see this this review widget doesn't seem to show up too, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah, it can glitch out. Yeah.
Yeah, so see, like right here, even just have a quick look, like I haven't seen the word.
It doesn't say auto detailing. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen auto detailing anywhere, right? So adding more things about that, like it's not just about just like putting the word anywhere, but it's overall just about like making your website more for that, right? Like if that makes sense. Like maybe even have like more of a landing page for specifically auto detailing, etc. Also, one thing I wanted to point out too is notice that your call button right here. That's pretty hard to see as well.
You're saying up at the top.
Yeah, like top left. Yeah.
I don't know how to get rid of that, man. I'm not sure what happened, but that appeared out of nowhere, and I did not add it there, and it won't go away. And I don't know if it's like custom code or what, but like out of nowhere, that showed up one day when I was editing the website, and I've looked all over the internet and Wix and everything, and I even using AI, and I don't know how to get rid of it.
Interesting. Okay, your website's on Wix, and did you make this website yourself?
Yeah. Yep.
Got it. Yeah, because one thing I also want to talk to you about too. Okay, now that pretty much covers quality score. I mean, you can interpret it however you want and implement it however you want, but like that's basically what quality score is. So that will help you quite a bit. But something else I want to talk to you about too, and this is going to be one of the most important things, arguably like the most important thing, really, is your actual conversion rate itself, right? So you pay Google when someone clicks your ads, right? Cost per click, PPC, pay per click, right? So this number right here, this percentage, is the percentage of people who have clicked and then, converted. And so in your case, it's either phone call or, filling out your actual form, right? So 1% of people. So right now, in your average cost per conversion right here, let's just say, we see it's 126. So if this conversion rate was 5%, that would dramatically change your numbers, right? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. So getting this number up actually helps everything, right? Because you're already paying for the click. So the person already clicked. And so now if you can turn them into a customer from their click, that's just going to make everything better. This is like one of the biggest levers you can pull is in increasing your conversion rate. So when someone has a low conversion rate, so I would say like industry average or standard conversion rate on like a search campaign for like something like a more luxury service like this is probably like, I don't know, like 3 to 6%. I know that's broad, but like that, like for a search campaign, I could see that being reasonable. So what this means is that there's a disconnect here, right?
Yep.
So if you're getting all these clicks, but only 1% of those people are taking action, then there's some kind of disconnect, right? And honestly, and I know you made this site yourself, and I'm not trying to crap on it at all, of course, but I think it's gonna, that's gonna come down to your website. Because if someone clicks on the actual ads themselves and they go, boom, Google's taking your money, Google's awesome, now good luck, here's your person, and they come right here. And if they're just like not visually appealed, not whatever, for any reason, they just go, I'm just going to keep searching, and they click the back button, like you lost that battle, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So what I would do, man, is I know paying someone for a website can obviously be expensive, but I would either pay someone to build a website, or if you want to continue to do it yourself, like I would just look at competitors' websites, right? Let's just type in like mobile auto detailers. I always look for like big affluent areas. Like let's just type in Miami. Oh, I realize I'm not sharing the screen. Type in something like this. Like let's just say that this, like let's say that this guy and you were in the exact same area. He was like one of like your big like competitors in the area, and this is his website.
Yeah, I'd be done.
Right, like if someone was to click on your ads and then go back and click on his and like see what they wanted to go with, just based off this, like who do you think would win realistically?
Him. Yeah, him.
Right.
Sure.
And so like that's the thing. And like the cool thing about this is like you can, I don't want to say like steal from people, like this website's not amazing either, but like you can kind of just like, like copy people for the most part. Or like you don't have to copy the full site, and this doesn't look that amazing either. But like you can just find what you want. And like if you have someone build your website, you can like take specific elements, from other people's websites.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so that's a good thing.
I just need to apply it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy in my area, Clean Mobile AZ. These guys are awesome. Like, look at this website, dude. This thing is built. Really clean. Thing is built to convert. Right? Like, dude. Oops! I clicked that on accident. Even that pop-up was amazing.
Who wouldn't do that? I mean, who wouldn't take that coupon and then he's just getting a bunch of. He's building his email list right off the bat.
Yeah. So like this website is amazing, right? So like, again, do the website as you will. I know obviously pricing and timing and everything else goes into having a good website, but increasing that conversion rate is going to help you infinitely.
100%.
Because again, you're already paying for the click. So if you can get 5% conversion compared to 1%, like you are going to get a lot more business for the exact same amount of money. One thing I noticed here too, people go to Auction Insights. I personally kind of hate looking at it like this. So what I like to do is I like to go to my actual overview. This is where you can see like more actual competition themselves. You scroll down to here, this will show you like a lot better of the people that are actually participating in the same ad auction. So this means people like they're targeting the same locations and like the being triggered by the actual same keywords themselves, right? So you can see like basically like where you rank with people. There's not really a lot. I mean, it might just be because it's paused, right? Like if I went to like a better like time frame, like maybe if I went from August 18th to September 1st. Let's just see. Let's do this. Like maybe that would make a difference here. Okay, I'm still not seeing a ton, and that could be because you also mentioned that you're advertising in a not very affluent area right now, right? And so you're realizing that's a lot of your issue. So yeah, what I would recommend is then opening this up because you can see you're only like this is where like you're actually beating everybody in terms of impression share. Like you're getting 32% of it. These guys are getting like none. But like these are also not very relevant guys. Amazon.com, Google, and then
Lavender was a competitor. Yeah.
Right. But like he's getting smoked. Like you're smoking him. But it's only because of this area. So that means that there's like probably a small bit of overlap in areas that he's targeting and that you're targeting also. But like you're winning this, but there's also not much of an auction here. So if you've also realized that like you're, the area that you're advertising in isn't very affluent, they're not really the people, then I would definitely explore other areas and you're probably going to see new competitors. Then you'll be able to see like who's winning, how many people are spending more than you, like your outranking share, how often you're top of page. Like the fact that Amazon.com comes up at the top of the page more than you do for searches that trigger what you're advertising for is also not great because Amazon sells products, right? So you really got to make sure that
they're
people
looking for like detailing products,
buy,
right?
like cleaning products or cleaning chemicals or like squeegees or brushes, right? Oops, I just accidentally kicked my camera. But can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can still hear everybody.
Oh shoot. I know what I just did. I have this thing. I actually just kicked it. Sorry. It has my all my Bluetooth stuff. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you, brother.
Okay, perfect. I keep putting my feet up on this thing and I just unplugged something. But yes, if all that makes sense, then keep that in mind as well. Because you would really want to be seeing you competing with a bunch of other mobile auto detailers, if that makes sense. Right.
So you're saying that my keywords my negative keywords might need some work as far as it shouldn't be, like Amazon shouldn't be ranking higher than me for my search terms. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And like, because I've looked at your search terms and like, they're not terrible. Like these are still pretty good, right? Like these are still pretty solid. These aren't people looking up like, oh, like car cleaning products, car cleaning brush. Like that would be people who are looking for actual products itself. So these are all still like really good. But for some reason, there's just not like a lot of other people advertising this in your area. So like, this is the only other thing coming up is just like, you have one other guy right here, and then you've got your stuff, right? So I would put a big emphasis on exploring and advertising those other more affluent locations that you mentioned earlier.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, man. Yep.
I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, dude. That is pretty much everything I got for you, though, man. Again, I've recorded this, so I'll send it over to you. But yeah, bro. That is everything, man. That is everything. Yeah, if you have any more questions, man, let me know. I really, really appreciate you. And yeah, man, if you ever need anything, just reach out. But this is exactly what I would do for you. This is what I would suggest, at least.
I appreciate it, John. I just have like one or two more minor things really quick, if that's okay.
Yeah, dude, of course.
If you owned a mobile detailing company and also were just opening a shop, what would be your main way of getting clients as far as, not having a large ad spend, but the position I'm in, being in that kind of position, would you focus more on organic? What organic would you leverage, or would you focus on Google Ads a lot, or like how would you do it if you got thrown on the, hey, you're moving to Ohio and you're going to start a detailing shop and be mobile? Like what would be your mindset as with your experience in marketing and stuff like that?
Yeah, dude, another amazing question. Dude, every single person that I help, I don't even care what it is. Every single person that I physically go to help, I would make sure that I get a 5-star Google review from them every single time. That's going to be the biggest lever you can pull for organic, for local. That's going to like keep you fed when other things aren't working. Like that's like the backbone of local home service, right? Or local services reviews. So I would get a 5-star review from every single person I come in contact with. The next thing, of course, is having like a branded vehicle, which you said you're already getting.
Doing that today, man. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. I would get those like like those A-frame signs that they're called.
Yep, I have those. Yeah.
Perfect. Is there like a QR code or call to action or like discount or number they can call like on it, or does it just like say who you are?
No, there is, and it's really nice. That's helped me get a lot of customers. The wrap has helped me get a lot of customers, and then the reviews have helped me get a lot of customers too. I think my thing is like I was kind of telling you, if I'm targeting people in a city where they're only going to pay for it once every however many years, then it's like, okay, I need to focus all of my efforts outside of these cities. If I have to put out yard signs over there, whatever I got to do, I got to target it all over there, you know?
Yep, exactly. Yep. And then the very next things I would do is figure out, how to get a better converting website, because that's going to help you across the board. And then the next thing that I would suggest, dude, and this is incredibly important, right? Because one, you're not going to be able to just acquire new customers forever, because you're going to be limited by location, competitors. Like, you're not just going to be able to just serve new people 24/7. The biggest emphasis I would put on, even if you just give it like the fattest discount or make it like a no-brainer offer, just so you can at least have business and you're not just, sitting around trying to acquire new customers. That's always going to be more expensive, harder, etc. But I would just milk as much business as you can from those existing people. So get them on subscriptions. Like, make it a no-brainer option to get them on a subscription. But obviously, of course, make it worth it for you, but calculate the real lifetime value of these people. Because just doing one and done new customer acquisition is like a pretty shitty game, in any industry. So if you're already going to pay for customers from Google ads and get them, or people are going to call you and see your truck, like, literally figure out how to maximize the amount of money that they'll give you over their lifetime, or like your lifetime of that relationship. So I'd make subscriptions like your biggest thing if you can. Get as many people as you physically can on a subscription.
Yeah, and that's definitely another pain point. I've reached out to, and trust me, I know there's ways to optimize my efforts in that regard. Right now, what I'm noticing is I definitely need to make changes and focus on that strategy a lot more. But with the customers that I'm getting, a lot of them aren't like, they're not really, there's a few of them that are, don't get me wrong, but most of them are like, oh, I want my car detailed when I go to sell it, or, oh, I want my car detailed once every, 3 years, and they don't plan on getting their car detailed again anytime soon. So that's like,
right.
They leave me the 5-star review. They love it. They're happy. They bring me referrals. I give them $50 or $25 to $50 for a referral. They let me take content, everything like that. And then they just don't want to come back for like a year, 2 years, 3 years. Or longer, and that's where it's like, okay, I need more maintenance clients. I only have like a few, out of all the customers I've serviced. So I definitely need to focus on that reoccurring business, rather than customers or whatever. Just getting reoccurring business, because it's scary without having any stability at all. You're just like servicing new clients all the time. It's a little scary,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and of course, like, you're always gonna have those customers that are just in it for that. But then, that's why moving into those affluent areas is going to help you a lot, because there are people who actually want this done. Like, I get my truck detailed, every month. Yeah. So there are people who want it for sure. So you just got to find those people. So yeah, it sounds like you already know exactly what to do, man. You just got to keep going. Just keep pushing.
100%. 100%, man. And I think that's pretty much it, man. I really appreciate you for all the advice, and
of course, bro. Of course.
Yeah, man, I'll be keeping you updated with how the business goes, and I'll definitely leave you a 5-star review after I get off here. And
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Where do you want me to leave that? Like,
I actually have a Google my business profile. I'll just text you the link to it. I would appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, man. Is there anything I could do for you as far as just helping you maximize this opportunity for the value you've given me, man?
No, man, this is perfect. I will put this on YouTube, but I'll blur everything sensitive if that's all right.
Okay.
But I think I already mentioned that to you. But yeah, man, this is it, man. This is what I do. I just want to help as many people as I can, provide as much value. So it seems like, I have, and that makes me really happy. So yeah, just keep me in the loop with the business, man. And if there's any more ways I can help, just let me know, man. Happy to do it.
I will, brother. And then can you send me like your ideal? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but if you can send me your ideal customer profile, like your sweet spot of what you're looking for. I run into people who are big players in the local service industry. It's just they would honestly be, some of the people that I know would honestly be more of a ideal client than I am right now at this point. But
sure.
I'd be more than happy to make introductions and just say, hey, you should get an audit with John, and they could instantly become customers with you versus me not being at that level yet. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, and I absolutely appreciate all referrals. So, thanks again, man, for thinking of me. So, anything I can do, man, I'd love to be a part of it. So, thank you again, brother.
God bless you, brother. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Last question that I just remembered is,
Yes,
do you
sir.
have any good resources for learning more of the Google ads, like as far as the conversion tracking and just additional resources? Do you have any good places that I should go? Because I know there's a lot of courses that'll give you information, and even Google gives you information, but it can sometimes lie to you and deceive you. So I'm just wondering, like, where, if I had one or two resources to go to get some advice, where would you recommend to go outside of your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I was gonna say my YouTube channel for sure, but also like Aaron Young. Aaron Young is like the best. This is like
Okay.
his cup of tea. So Aaron Young is he's like the biggest YouTuber in the Google Ads space. And when I was learning, his videos were fantastic. He even has like a free Google Ads checklist for like search campaigns, so you can like make sure every 3 days, week, and like month and 90 days that you know that you're doing all the stuff you need to do to make sure. He's even got like a very affordable community that you can join and like ask questions. And there's always people in there. So I would definitely recommend his stuff for sure. But of course, my YouTube channel. But yes.
Look, man, I'm going to preach your YouTube channel all day long, and I've honestly watched multiple videos, so I'm definitely on your side, man. I'm just like, if there's any questions that maybe your videos don't answer or whatever, in the meantime, just to fill in those gaps, I'm just looking for whatever I could find.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. Yeah. And then the next big resource is, after we get off this call, I'm going to send you this. It's going to take Google a little while to render it. But once give me a few hours, and I'll send this video to you too for a recording. So then once you start to see the account move and you turn it back on and you're like, oh shoot, like what exactly did Johnny and I talk about? You can reference this video. So no problem, bro.
Thanks so much, man. Have a wonderful day and a good lift at the gym, man. Stay focused. Don't get on your phone, man. You get them reps in.
True that. Okay. Thank you, Levi. I appreciate you, man. You have a great day. Okay.
Peace,
you too. Bye.